yeah, next in our session is Stephanie van den Berg from Porebase. She's a sustainability manager. I got a bit of some details from her, both professional and personal. So she's living in the Netherlands near Rotterdam. I think I heard Barendrecht a few days ago. Yeah, okay. And almost working for 5 years now at Porebase in the strategy and innovation team in the role of portfolio manager and lead on sustainability. She studied the Bachelor Human Geography, quite interesting, and don't know what it, but then therefore the breaks are for that. Then a master in international development, and then a postmaster in sustainability and strategy. I'm not going through all the different activities that you have as a hobby because it's quite a lot, but it goes from loving outdoors, traveling, skiing, snowboarding, swimming, camping, and all these kind of things. So very active.
You asked for a biography, and
yeah. Yes, very good. So of course, Stephanie, as lead sustainability at Porebase, she was the ideal person of the working group that we started in the beginning of this year on to see how PCS services can be made sustainable and how to cope with that, how to measure that, and these kind of things. So we have a working group, and we are very glad that Stephanie accepted to be the chair of that working group, and she will now give a presentation on the update of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nico, for this kind introduction. And thank you, Tanger Med, for having us here and for being able to give this presentation. Like I said, lead sustainability, happy to be here. And yeah, the IPCSA Sustainability Initiative. I would like to set the scene. Just why are we setting up this initiative? A bit on our first working group meeting, the kickoff. What are the outcomes, the first outcomes, and a bit on the goal we have set for this initiative. And of course, sharing a bit of insights. And for that, I will share with you our port-based sustainability strategy. And that's mostly around how a port community system can contribute to sustainability and how we can facilitate that with our port community systems. Well, why as IPCSA start focusing on sustainability? I think all of you are aware of the importance of sustainability, and that sustainability is becoming quite a hype the last years. Every event you're going, every seminar you're hearing, you hear about sustainability, but also about decarbonization, about emission reduction, about working towards emission-free ports. And I think this trend and this movements and all the regulations we're seeing coming up are contributing to improving our planet, improving our world, and working towards a more sustainable economic growth, or even maybe not growth, but a more sustainable world. And of course, within sustainability, also trust in the chain, integrity, but also inclusivity, diversity, that's all also within the whole package of sustainability. And I think it's good for our port community system and for IPCSA to start focusing on that, and that we see that it has an impact, sustainability has an impact on all the underlying logistics sectors and supply chains. And I think with a focus on this and with this initiative, we can start sharing our knowledge. We can start sharing good practices and examples of strategies set up, but also initiatives, so that we can help each other and also cooperate together towards these emission-free and resilient ports. And let's start to see how we as IPCSA and the working group kickoff set first goals and what we set is our main goal, but also what's our sorry. It's very yeah. Let's start. That's I think my main point. The content of our working group. We set the kickoff on the 10th of April, so that was last month. And let's first of all mention that we're still looking for more members. I'm looking at Inga. I think we had roughly 6 or 7 members in the group. And of course, we would love it when there are people around you or in your organizations focusing on sustainability to join our working group, to share knowledge with us, to share insights or initiatives. So that are the little green letters underneath. You can come towards me or towards Inga when you have new members or people in your organization who would like to join. So please let us know. The introduction of the working group members was, of course, important to us because what's bringing our working group members to this initiative, and also hearing from them what are their insights and which initiatives are they already involved in. Besides that, setting the goals and defining the scope. Most of all, the output of this working group is putting together useful and usable analysis, guidelines, and standards to share with our members. Well, when we look at the key takeaways, then I think it's important to mention that the definition of sustainability is not for everybody the same. When you mention sustainability, I don't want to say most of the people are, but mostly people mention emission reduction or becoming more green. But also sustainability is diversity, but also making sure that, for example, our supply chain resilience is in scope. We had Dimitro, I'm saying it right, Dimitro in our group from Ukraine, and he mentioned that for him, a part of sustainability is also making sure that we have overall supply chain stability, and that the port community system is an important part of that. So taking this into the scope is very important as well. Our main goal, which we set, is to share knowledge and insights of successful sustainability strategies and practices, together working towards emission-free ports and resilient ports. I think that's very much in line with the whole title of this members meeting today. When we look what we are planning to set up, that's most of all sharing knowledge in this matter. That can be through guidelines, but that can also be workshops or webinars. And then you can think of, for example, sharing insights on new regulations coming up. Within Port-Based, we're, for example, working on the regulation CSRD, on the CBAM. Probably it's not saying most of you anything, but working that out, sharing that knowledge with the members can be very helpful, and can also make sure that it empowers you to make informed decisions. So that's the main part of this working group, but also setting standards and sharing and defining these standards. Oh, is that okay? And communicating about that. I think focusing on emissions and emission reduction can be a goal, since emissions are very hard to calculate, but also the standards are very diverse. So setting a standard, working together all over our IPCSA members could be a very, you say that, a very profitable outcome. Yeah, I think that's our main goal, and I would love to hear probably afterwards, but maybe already, if you have some adding goals towards this. This is the first outcome from last month, so always open to hear any comments or any adjustments. Then, in sharing knowledge, I'm going over to our port-based sustainability strategy slides. I already shared these slides also with our executive committee in November, I think it was. And Inga and Nico asked me if I could also share it with the wider member group because, well, it was apparently insightful. Okay, the port-based strategy on sustainability. I think I have to mention that I started 5 years ago at Portbase, and I came from a different logistics sector where they are already working a lot on sustainability and making sure that transport was led, that there was emission reduction in the transport and that we had supply chain visibility. And I came into Portbase and I said, okay, well, so we have a port community system. I got to know how it worked and what all the services were doing. And I said, wow, then we're also actually contributing to making the ports more sustainable. And then most of the higher management and CEO was looking at me, no, we cannot say that because making it more sustainable, no, I think that's greenwashing. Greenwashing. When we're making the harbor more efficient, and when we are taking out fuel consumption because of making it more efficient, then it's emission reduction, and then emission reduction contributes to making the harbor more sustainable. But 5 years ago, seriously, everybody was looking at me like, oh no, we cannot say that. And then I think 2-3 years ago, they started like, okay, maybe we should dive into it. So that was one of the first things I did 2-3 years ago, diving into how our port community system services were contributing to emission reduction. And that was a bit of the start of sustainability within Portbase. After that, we also set a new mission and vision. And that one we see here. And it says we believe the world needs efficient, sustainable, and secure trade in order to thrive and prosper. Sharing more and better data throughout the supply chain is key in fulfilling this need. Together with our customers, we build platforms and community that makes ports and their supply chains seamless, sustainable, and secure. You see the word sustainable coming forward in this new mission and vision. And well, we're very proud of that. And I think these 3 S's, seamless, sustainable, secure, making sure that these are in our strategy loaded and that we're bringing this strategy towards execution is very important to us. For the ones who are not very familiar with Portbase and its port community system, I took this one slide with me to a little bit explain what we are doing. We are a neutral port logistic platform, the port community system of the Netherlands, for public and private collaboration in data sharing. You see the lower part of the 3-layered model. That's our basic infrastructure. And that's like really the layer where the infrastructure is set, where the capabilities are built to share the knowledge, to share the data. Then when you take the middle layer, these are our process services. So really the services of our port community system, these are the services and integrated solutions for sharing data between government, between all the parties in the port, to make sure that we handle our core processes in the harbor efficiently and secure. When you see the top layer, that's really the data and information services. So in that top layer, you really connect the full ecosystem with smart applications, and it's the platform to link existing data from your process services to and to share it with the wider ecosystem, but also, of course, within our community via APIs. Why is this important? Because this is our core business. And everything we do within sustainability and our sustainability strategy should fit in this three-layered model. So whether it's in our process services or it's in the top layer sharing data, this was for me the key of setting up our sustainability strategy. With this process services and the upper layer, Portbase has been for the last 20 years adding value to our community. So really making our harbor more efficient, gave direct added value to our community and our stakeholders. We set up an added value model, and you see the current added value per year on the left side of it. And you see that that's been growing the last 10 years. Besides that, we have been diving into, like I said in the introduction, how our services, our port community services, are contributing to emission reduction. I work together with a party called Ecores. Ecores is a consultancy agency, but really specific, also focusing on emission reduction. And they set up a model to calculate the potential of emission reduction, which we, well, actually not we, but our customers are creating by using our services. And you see that by less stopping and less waiting at the gate, for example, or facilitating model shift, making sure that the capacity utilization is going up, that we contribute to the potential of emission reduction. You see the numbers here. But since, for example, CO2 reduction in tons maybe is not saying you anything, I also asked this company to put it in more, well, logical numbers. And for example, when you look yearly, we save 10 million, we save the amount of emissions comparable with 10 million trees, which is, of course, quite large. And that for a small country as the Netherlands, and a port community system where roughly now working 175 persons, that's actually quite cool. So having these numbers, and not for a marketing purpose, but just for ourselves to know how we can steer on creating more port community system services, or which are contributing to emission reduction, but also giving our product owners hands-on tools or drivers towards, okay, we want you to focus more on emission reduction. So setting up services and also focusing on emission reduction via also just-in-time and port call optimization. And because we made a model which is actually saying, okay, by making sure that there's less stopping and less waiting at the gates, this saves a lot of emissions. I think I have also, a picture with me of the model itself. We built a dashboard of it, so a Power BI dashboard. Ecores helped us with this. And it basically gives us the services of the port community system which are contributing. It gives us the different emissions and the amount of emissions we are reducing. Of course, not we, but our customers using our services, and this is on a transaction basis. So by using our service, doing a transaction, it calculates the potential of emission reduction. Of course, I have to tell you, it's a model. And a model is not, when you take our 5,000 customers, it's not always precisely the number it tells us, because it's a model, and we're also working with averages, and we're working towards that. We can specify it, so build a template that we can specify it per customer, but that's the next step. Yeah. Then a bit on our strategy. I think I already told you that setting up the sustainability strategy, I did a lot of research. I did a study involved in this, a postmaster, and setting up a vision on this topic. I made sure that staying very close to the purpose of Portbase. The purpose of Portbase is making sure that we facilitate our port and port logistic stakeholders in handling their containers, their cargo, their bulk, etc., as seamless, sustainable, and secure towards the hinterland, or vice versa. So staying close to that was most important to me, but also making sure that Portbase itself is contributing and making positive impact was very important in this matter. What we see is that we have different impact areas. When you look at your own organization, and I think 2 years ago, I did a small survey under our customers on sustainability. Just little questions like, what are your sustainability goals? What are you already doing within sustainability? Most of the companies were coming back like, okay, I have some electric trucks, or I have a garbage, how do you say that? Dividing your garbage, you know. And it's like, yeah, okay, very much looking at their own company, very much only looking on small scale. And what's very important is that we also think broader than that we also think about the ecosystem, take the helicopter view, see what we can do together in cooperation. And not only looking at our own organization, but also towards the whole portfolio, and also the impact we can have on the ecosystem. And looking at that, of course, it's important that also with Portbase, we make impact. The impact is probably small, but it's very important that we show that we can make positive impact, and that we have a lot of influence on our own company. So we said there, Portbase must be seen as a sustainable organization, and we are working towards a vital, safe, and inclusive working environment, reducing our own footprint, setting up a dashboard for footprint calculations, etc. I think good to mention in this matter is last year we did not put the focus on our own organization, since we actually know that we're doing quite well. I will tell you later on in the next slide. But for example, we are in a AAA building. It's one of the most sustainable buildings in the whole Rotterdam area. So, you know, like our footprint is basically nothing compared with other companies. So that's quite cool. And that's for me a quite nice start to already start within a building, and a company already moved to the cloud. And AWS is telling us that they are in 2025 completely using green energy. So that's an easy start for me, actually, within the organization impact layer. But then the impact layer of the Portbase portfolio, there it becomes very interesting, because there you can make a lot of impacts, and you also still have quite a lot of influence, because we see that the willingness of our customers and our stakeholders to contribute to sustainability is very large. Putting together our strategic board, our ExCo executive committee, they all say, yes, sustainability is very important. We need to work towards this. And we also see from a EU perspective, but also our own government perspective, that rules and regulation towards a Green Deal, towards emission-free ports in 2050 are very extensive. So we need to make sure that we facilitate our port and port logistic partners in making sure that they can do their reporting, that they have the right data available, and sharing this data with them becomes more and more important. You see on the port-based portfolio goals on this layer, that contributing to safe digital port through a joint approach on undermining. Diederik will tell tomorrow more about that. It's within our sustainability goals, but that's a whole program within port-based. So I'm not going to mention a lot on that part now. But on the other three layers, so efficient and sustainable handling of goods, facilitating the adoption of innovations, and making sure that our community and our stakeholders can comply with changing laws and regulations. That's our main focus for 2024-2025. And then the third layer, that's like really the ecosystem. So that's not the customers and our community using our services, but that's the wider ecosystem, the customers of our customers, but also all of you. So sharing this information with you is also very important for me, because that's sharing it with my wider ecosystem, and setting up partnerships to work together in this. So being the lead in the working group was also for me an honor and very much in line with our strategy. Then a bit on which ambitions we set. I made an overview of a part of the initiatives we're taking and the ambitions we set. I divided them in making real impact, creating the insights, and creating awareness. And what you see is making sure that we have the insights and creating awareness was last year and also part of this year really the main focus. So making sure that your colleagues and people within your organization are aware of sustainability, that they have a little person on their shoulders sitting with everything they're doing, asking themselves, okay, is this what I'm doing helping to become more sustainable? Is it helping to make our supply chain more sustainable? Is it helping to make Tanger Med more sustainable? Is it, like having this little puppet on everybody's shoulder and just telling them, okay, how is this contributing to sustainability? That was my main goal within port-based the last year. And I think that worked out quite well. So I'm quite happy. I shared a lot of the sustainability strategy throughout the organization, also with most of our stakeholders, our strategic board, etc. And from there on, when this awareness is there, you can work together on the insights, set up initiatives to create the insights, but also do some analysis on rules and regulations, analysis on which data is needed to share to become more sustainable in your supply chain, or to become compliant with these rules and regulations. And when you look at this this overview, then our main goal towards 2025, but also 2030, is to have the total emissions of insides of the Dutch ports together. And for that, we also need standards, of course. So we need standards in how do you collect these emissions. And we know that the Port of Rotterdam is having a emission service platform dashboard. We know that the Port of Amsterdam is working on that. We know that North Seaports is working on that. We know, so all the ports are working for their own area on making sure that they have their emissions of that area, that they calculate that, but bringing it together for the whole of the Netherlands in our matter, that can be quite a hard job, bringing this data together and making sure that they're calculating with the same standards. That's not sure yet. And how we can share that later on with you would be perfect, I think, to share. Any questions on this part? Questions online? No? Sure. Sorry? Whatever you want. You can also, I can repeat it and then.
Yeah, I think this was the last slide.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to say, I will come back to the repeat of the question, but thank you, Stephanie, for the presentation. In any case,
Sharp on time, huh?
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah. Because I wanted to say that we still have room for 1 or 2 questions, so
Yeah.
we will come up. But I think, it clearly shows the importance of sustainability and that as PCS operators and single window operators that we do have and that we can have an impact on sustainability and the climate. Not only in our services, but as Stephanie explained, in all levels of the organization, not only the lower, but also the higher management. But I think this illustrates the needs of our working group and that there's a lot of work to be done. So again, a call to action for our members to take part in the working group. So I will come with the microphone.
Oh, I think Ingrid already.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Okay, perfect.
Hello. First, introduce myself. My name is Tanger Med May. I'm the Chief Operation Officer in Tanger Med May office. Continue to recall what I was saying about the same time. Just to add that the guideline from the IMO profession, just everyone knows that now it's by the IMO. Tanger Med, it's a member of the ITPCO. 2016, was invited by the CSA to be part of the association, and also by the IMGO. IMGA was also chosen as the top one. I have 2 questions. First one, it's for the organization, for members. As we see that a lot of associations, they are talking about preparing the APIs. What's your level, what you are doing now? If you already take to prepare the APIs for the just-in-time, love the just-in-time, as in my opinion, you are expert in the IT1 expert. In my opinion, you must be in the front line, be preparing the APIs. This is the first question. The second one is about the emission calculation. I don't know, I hear that in the level, but I must be sure. What level you are now in the calculation of emission? Are you introducing, making in consideration the IMO KPIs? And we are interested to know which level you are in calculating the emission, because we want to have, of course, calculation of emission. We have a lot of initiatives to reduce greenhouse gases, but without KPIs, how
it's hard.
We do it manually, we do it with the, but if there is a lot of organization doing that, approaching us, but if you are doing this, there are a number of associations that would be great. Thank you.
Yes, I think it's hard to repeat this whole story, but I think 2 questions. One is on if we could give you some more information on APIs concerned just in time. The other is how the calculations are being done for emissions, and if you can share some information on that. I think on the just-in-time, from a port-based perspective, I can just bring you in contact with the persons who are working on that in the division of our bezoekschip, it's the vessel, how do you call it? Vessel arrival department. So I'm more than happy to bring you in contact with them. I think for the emission calculation, it's good to mention that I'm standing here from a port-based perspective. Port-based is a separate company from the Port of Rotterdam. And for us, it's like making sure that we're giving the calculations of the potential emission reduction through our services, which is different from calculating the emissions of the Port of Rotterdam. I also have contacts for you with the Port of Rotterdam and the persons who are doing the calculation over there. So that's easy for me to bring you in contact. But that's not something from my part, from the port community system part, which I'm taking up. So, and I don't know if Nico wants to add something from, for example.
About the level of like all the stakeholders are involved, like level 1,
the KPIs, which KPIs they are using and how they calculate it.
Yeah, I know that.
Talking about single action from each port.
Yes.
About the association.
Yes.
I think the port, I know there is many initiatives, but I'm talking about the association. Because you are all members, so why not will be fixed the data from the association?
Yes, so for example, is everybody using the greenhouse gas protocol, and are they all doing the, for example, science-based target initiative? So that's, I know from the Port of Rotterdam that they have an extensive report on that. But I don't know yet for all the, since it's a new initiative.
Yeah, also Niels from Port of Rotterdam is in the room here, so yeah, if you need contacts, I think that's no problem. I also think we need to make a distinction between the port authority level, where you're using these kind of frameworks and KPIs on let's say the level of the vessel and emissions, but we are also looking to the port community system operations. So not only on the vessel traffic management operations of the port authority itself, but specifically looking to the port community system services that you offer as a PCS or a single window, and how to make it more sustainable there. So I think there's a small distinction between the two. Both of them are equally important, but we are more focusing on the second part.
Yeah.
So just coming back to your first question on the APIs, we as an association, we will not develop or implement these kind of things, but we will promote, and like we have strategic partnership with IPPCO, with ECSA, so we are promoting their international standards.
Maybe I can add something to that question, more from the viewpoint of customers. We are also represented as an association in the World Customs Organization, so WCO, and customs is at the moment driving.
Yes, it's right.
So they're also driving now on their agenda the Green Deal for customs. So you asked what an association like ours can do to create KPIs for ourselves. But what I would like to add now is that we are trying to influence also the positions of the economic operator sides in front of the WCO to help them to create their KPIs for customs worldwide in the right way to follow up with that topic and helping them to reach their aims in the Green Deal. So this is what we do on the front of lobbyism with the World Customs Organization, and the rest is what Nico has already told you.
Yeah, thank you. Other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much, Stephanie.
Welcome.
Yep.